taught to me by my mentor, my coach. He said, I asked him, I said, if you could go back and you could relearn something or do something over, what would you do? And he said, before I did anything else, and this is a gentleman who's easily amassed a couple $100 million. He said, before I do anything else, I would have learned how to be able to get access to private money. Not, I would have went and got money first, or I would have did X, Y, and Z first. How to get access to private money. The word access is a very important word, first and foremost. And the second is understanding why having access to money is important in the first place. Now, I want you here to get this secret. When you have access to money, there isn't a room you cannot walk in. There isn't a deal, whether it's real estate or business buying or whatever, that you do not have the ability to be able to put money in, regardless if it's your money or not, and to put yourself in that situation. And so we thought it extremely important. The DMV leaders was like, we have to do a panel on private money and be able to show you guys how we've been getting access to capital, what we've been doing, what that all means, and how you need to be able to put yourself in that position. Because a lot of you here recently, or depending on how long you've been doing real estate, the only reason why you haven't accomplished your goals is because you don't have access to the capital. You're moving at a very slow pace, and if you learn to have access to it, it changes your whole game. All right, so are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I did all this talking on the mic was off.
So are you guys ready?
Yeah.
There you go. Can you guys make sure the mic stay on? They can hear a lot better. See, I give it to you, sir.
Thank you for the warm ball. I don't know if I can follow up with that. I think you did my job for me. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're here to talk about money, right? It's the one thing that everybody's looking for, the one thing that makes the world go around, so to speak, right? Without it, nothing moves. We can't do deals without money. So we're here to talk about the different versions of private money, how to get access, like they said, what it requires, what they look for, what they look for in you, what they look for in the deal. But then also to just have some real conversations about what it looks like during a transaction. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, right? We're ripping and banding on it, and we just gotta have a real conversation. So I'm just gonna introduce the speakers one by one. They'll come up and actually give you their version of who they are. I want them to tell you who they are. You know, I can sit here and you know, give them praises all day long, but I feel like it's more authentic, it's more genuine when it comes directly from my horse's mouth. All right, so first up, we have ladies first. My sis, that I'm so proud of, Diane Thomas.
Can I sit anywhere?
So where you want, you're the lady.
My better side.
All right, next up, we have Jose Mary. My man, Phil Top. And last but definitely not least, Mr. Eddie Charger. We're just gonna start out with some real basic. We're gonna start with the lady first, absolutely.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today in this room. My name is Jael Thomas. I am an agent. I have my own company, and I also lead a team of agents. I'm also a co-founder of a real estate company with my mother, Stacey Thomas, all inclusive. We do business nationwide, and we have a huge network of private money lenders. We're helping people every day make a larger return on their money than they can with the bank. And we're very invested in multifamily and creative financing because it really allows you to increase your return and lower your risk with your capital. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Jose Leary. I don't know how I got on the panel. I think I was here for the free food later on. So again, is it on? There we go. Jesus. All right, start over. There we go. So again, Jose Leary. I've been a Gator. If you guys, anybody, actually, let me ask you guys, anybody know what Gator lending, Gator method is? A couple folks, and we'll talk about that. But So yeah, I'm here in the Maryland area. I'm up in Columbia, and I'm in the Gator family since like January timeframe. So really the idea was kind of add in the Gator kind of perspective from a private money lender area. So I'll get into that some more. There you go.
Hey guys, my name is Philip Ty. I've been in real estate since 2017. I've been in Sub 2 since August of 2020, and during that time I've done quite a bit of deals, 37 renovations, now going on even more. Been a part of hundreds of wholesale transactions up along the East Coast and scaled a business between 3 VAs all the way up to 23 VAs now. Have a fund of funds. Then I got into Gator lending with Pace MORBY when he first started the program back in I think August of 2022. And since then, we've been able to do about 30 transactions or more going now. And so now that I'm currently doing that, and I'm also focusing on buying businesses as well, all thanks to the community of Sub 2 and Gator lending. That's a little bit about my background.
I'm Eddie Charger. I feel like we did this already, but no, I'm here based out of Atlanta. Myself and my business partner, we own and operate our real estate investment company. We have a boutique brokerage as well. We have several different businesses that we own. We're currently buying businesses. We are also heavy in affordable housing. Creative financing is my love language. So I look at everything from that standpoint. And also we have a couple of podcasts where we talk about businesses, and one of them is Money Ain't a Thing, which is basically, that's my partner, which is basically teaching people how to rethink about money, and from the standpoint of different types of entrepreneurs, showcasing how they have access and how to be able to gain it yourself. So this is one of the reasons why being on this panel with these amazing individuals is one I just felt like I could not miss. I'm actually gonna be asked a lot more questions to get answers from these guys than the other way around. So if you ask me a question, I answer, but I'm definitely trying to learn from this group right here.
Awesome, thank you. There seems to be some feedback. That's why I'm kind of stepping away from this, but it's not working. But everybody wants to be in the position that you guys are in, right? Every investor aspires to be the bank. So talk about your journey to get to where you are, because I'm pretty sure that you didn't just wake up one day with a bag of money like, yo, let's go. Right? Tell me how you got started in real estate. Like, where'd you start off, and how did you get to the point where you can lend?
So I started off as a real estate agent. Way harder than they tell you it's gonna be. A lot more work than I thought I wanted to do, once you get involved. And then I said, okay, let's focus on the multifamily space. Adrian, my mom, and myself, we have a team called TGT Capital Group. And we started off looking for deals, trying to figure out how we could get into these apartment deals. And then we realized if we have the capital, we can get into any deal that we want to. And that's where it all started. And we all knew that we had a network. Real estate agents, a lot of them do not know how to invest. And they have so much money in lump sums coming in all the time. My mom is retired. She managed over 300 people that all are watching us on social media that want to invest and get a return on their money. Money sitting in self-directed IRAs, guys, retired folks. They need relief. We don't have affordable housing in this country like we should. And it's a lot of people getting boxed out. So why not help other people let their money work for them? So we saw a need there, and we all realized, especially Adrian too, he's a veteran. He has other people that have capital as well, and we said, ooh, we'll just pool capital, and now everybody who has deals are coming to us with their deals. And it changed the game for us. We were under contract for a 44 unit, and it fell through at the last minute, but we had already raised almost all of the capital. So now that's all we're doing, because now we can get into any deal that we want to, and it's so powerful, but also help people because we're gonna safeguard their money and make sure that the deals are really, really good, and we're vetting who their money is going to. So it's gonna be a huge service to the community.
So on my side, so I still have really my W-2, right? So what I'm doing on the Gator side is I got into it. I was getting ready to sign up for the sub-2. And I thought, you know what, looking at Lawrence and all these folks, I at first didn't think I had enough time and commitment to really put it into it, because I think, you know, just like you all, right? If you want to do something, do it right. And then the Gator thing came along. It's like, okay, this is a great way for me to kind of get into learning the field, making connection with people, and getting into that space. For those real quick who don't know what Gator is, just for a very high level. So the Gator method is kind of like the umbrella term. There's multiple different kind of iterations and programs underneath that. Gator lending is just one. If you think about it, what Pace and team did, they didn't invent Gator lending. Airbnb didn't invent renting a house, and PadSplit didn't invent renting by the room. But they really took with Gator method and Gator lending is really kind of programatizing and formalizing the idea of inserting yourself into deals. You know, when you're a Gator, that whole kind of imagery of like taking a small chunk of a deal, you're not really technically a lender, you're a JV, right? You are partnering with somebody to get a deal done. I think the number is, I think actually you were talking in the previous panel, like almost half the deals don't go through, right? They fall through for whatever reasons. And a lot of reasons because like EMD, the wholesalers who maybe they're starting out, they don't have the funds, or they may have 50 wholesale deals. Most of those guys don't have that kind of money to fund, even if it's 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000, whatever it is. So that's really the idea about Gator, is like getting into a specific piece and doing it. And that's kind of how I get into it, is like, I'm using this as a way to get into the real estate world. I'm actually veering more towards PadSplit. I'm already kind of getting into that in the Baltimore area, and also getting into flex space and flex industrial kind of areas too. So that's, to me, it was kind of like a Gator lender's got a gateway drug to get into real estate. Go from there.
What was the question again? Sorry. This is really cold here.
So basically, we asked, how did you get into lending?
Okay, gotcha. So basically, I've been doing a lot of fix and flips in my career life, I should say, or my real estate life. And I always needed some funds, and that came at a cost, and I would always have to network in these rooms, right? I would have to go there, do the thing that I didn't want to do, is networking, and me speaking on this stage right now is also a little bit terrifying, but I thought I'd never be here. So I realized how much money the lenders were making, and I just couldn't believe it, and I was doing all the work. And so, as time, went by, like my mindset shifted from doing all the work, to trying to do none of the work and just pushing paper. And, from my experience, going to Gator has afforded me the opportunity to be able to connect with so many other people that don't have the experience and skill set that I was able to acquire over my investing career. And because of that, I know what a lender is looking for when it comes to contingency, security, right? Vetting the deal, what's my timeline when I get into the deal, how much do I put into the deal, is my money secured by second lien, first lien, deed of trust, can I get a deed in lieu of foreclosure? So all these things that I end up learning along my journey has helped me become a better, successful connector, but also a person that also knows how to lend to other individuals, to where I know I want to get my money back and make sure the deal is secure for myself. So those things, experience has definitely given me a perspective that I could not get if I did not do it. So I think that has been a blessing, and like basically without me knowing, it was a blessing at the time. And now, since what Lawrence has been telling you guys, you need money to do deals. And once you're able to provide a service that helps your lenders, you'll be surprised on how many people will come back to you and say, hey, do you have another deal? Hey, do you actually have a deal yourself that you're doing? And because they can see how much you vet and see how much you care for their return, it becomes a full cycle, and you just get people out of the woodwork just giving you deals. So yeah, that's my answer to that.
All right. I really was trying to listen to everything you're saying, but I was dying here quietly. So I apologize. What was the question? how we got started? Like how we got started? Okay. For me, it was a little bit different. It was two things. One, how many people here have a wholesaling company? All right, perfect. How many people here have a business that they are looking to scale? Okay, so I was in that boat, right? And my business partner and I, we were at a point in time where it's okay, now let's scale this thing, right? We understand, we know what we're doing, we know how to do it, we can do it very well. It's time to scale. No one told us in all the YouTube videos that we've watched that scaling is not cheap. It's extremely expensive to scale a business. The amount of money that you have to put out to get what you're looking for is not there, right? And so that's when I first got into understanding you need to be able to have access to be able to bring money in order for you to scale, different type of partners. And that's when I first was introduced to what a capital partner is. Then it got to the point where I had a realization that, and this is kind of like why we're involved in affordable housing, why I'm passionate about like passive bid and midterm rentals, which our midterm rentals are primarily focused working with insurance companies and families who have gone through like craziness in their life and they have no backup plan. But the reason why we're in that is because most people who get started in real estate, and unfortunately, but also fortunately, this includes some of you that are here, most of you will never really make significant amount of money in real estate. Like statistically, that's just the reality of it, right? And the reason that is because you'll do deals, but you'll never be able to do enough where it becomes generational type change if you continue to do it by yourself, the way that you're doing it. And the only way that you are gonna be able to is to like take the money that you do have or that you are making and you invest into a bigger or larger project or with individuals like this that already have the systems, already have the business scaled, already have these type of things done, and they're already spitting out returns. Most people think they need to get involved in the real estate in order to make money from real estate, and the reality is you need to invest in real estate. And when I learned that was the actual truth, I realized, well, as an entrepreneur that is successful and doing what needs to be done, I have a responsibility. It's an obligation that before I leave, I can help as many people as possible to be able to make the type of returns from real estate that they couldn't do by themselves. And that's how I get started as a lender.
Excellent. So, being that you all have experience now as lenders and as investors, how do you see deals different? Like, how do you look at a deal now as opposed to how you look at it when you first started? Like, what are some of the criteria that you have set now for deals that you won't take?
I look at them differently to where I'm not gonna say that it can only be done one way. When I see an opportunity, I'm gonna say, what's the best way to do this? It may not be the first way that you were thinking of, because all deals are different, and you have to let it evolve to where it makes the most sense for you, your private money lender, the investor, the seller. So looking at something one way is what I used to do when I first started out, like, oh, we gotta wholesale this. But really keeping deals and building that wealth and the opportunity to really cash flow on it and make money over time is better than a one-time lump sum. So my mindset shifted there. And the other thing I always look at is, what are the other exit strategies here? What if something changes? Am I gonna be in a position where I'm stuck with this? I want a great deal, not just something that's gonna be good for now. So just looking long-term at things instead of so short-sighted. So that's the big change and shift for me.
Actually, I think for me, it's really the idea about, it really instilled like due diligence, really understanding the paperwork. And I gotta get a shout out to one of my good friends now, Mr. Aaron Kim there in the back. He is I would say a Gator gangster, I say. And by the way, he does coaching in the Gator side, but for those that have gone through the program, you get all these documents, right? All the affidavits and all this process, this document, and so on. And a lot of the words kind of run together. He sat down with me. We kind of went through like this. We even renamed. We changed the name of the documents from legalese to like actual, layman's terms. So really, just learning the paperwork and what gets done where, who it sends to, and the idea that you never send money to a person. You send it to a title company. Those you don't think about that. Like a lot of folks, you got a deal. Let me send you money. No, you got to really do the due diligence. That's the thing I'm kind of taking away from learning when you get into whatever XYZ type of lending you're doing, is just knowing the process and the documents and protecting yourself. That's the key thing that I've learned.
So I look at every deal as if I was going to lend on it, right? Because if you have that perspective when you look at deals, it makes you more protective. And if you are getting these deals across your desk and people are asking for help, and let's say you're a connector, you're connecting two parties together, borrower and lender, you also want to cut your time in half. You want to pretty much reduce your time in communication between the two parties. Because you don't want to go back and forth in communication. Oh, I missed this question. Hey, what's this is all about? Like, hey, how much money are you actually needing for this deal? Like simple stuff like that. What kind of protection do I have if the deal goes south? So I'm always thinking about very logical terms when it comes down to the very basics of it, right? So you don't want to get caught in a bad deal and have to go through foreclosure. That's like literally a 6 to 8 month process. And on top of that, you're already in the deal and you're gonna spend more money in that deal where you could have just had a deed in lieu of foreclosure and just take the property back and just do what you need to do on that particular property. So basically just really vetting the deal like it was your last deal. And also, what's also been helpful for me is really understanding the person's background. Are they fresh? Do they know what they're talking about? Can they explain the deal to me in layman's terms? If they don't have a clear exit, then that probably isn't a person that I would want to lend to. And lastly, a gut check. Like, I know that sounds really corny, but like feeling the other person's energy and just like, oh, is this the person I want to work with? Does he pass the good vibes, right? And if he doesn't, then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna probably pass on this, because I've had horror stories from other Gators that I did a vibe check and I was like, no, this guy's too egotistic. He's smoking in front of the Zoom call. He's just showing his house around, like, hey, look at my house. This is what I did here and here and here. I'm like, this is so inappropriate to the call. And end up finding out that this particular borrower, he ended up pretty much botching the whole deal basically. And the Gator wrestler, which is the person that actually is looking to fund the deal also, but also get other Gators to also fund the deal, he's going through a whole situation where he's basically backpedaling, and he's got to really beg the borrower to pay back his money. And so for me, it didn't pass the vibe, and so I didn't lend on it. Thankfully, I didn't. So now I'm hearing the stories behind it, and I'm like, could have told you, said no, but he kept on doing it. So yeah, that was like a big thing for me, is doing the vibe check.
So that was really good. Mine is very similar on the end of what you're saying. I always bet on the jockey, not the horse, right? You can have an amazing deal. And I'm like, oh, this is a great deal. And I'm like, tell me about yourself. Well, I just started watching real estate programs last week on the internet. I'm like, all right, I gotta go. I gotta hang out. In fact, I had a guy who called me last week. This was Saturday. He's like, hey, I got referred to you. They said you can help me. He tells me about this deal, and I asked him all the details that you kind of heard here. Then I started asking him, like, hey, tell me about yourself. Like, what do you do? He's like, well, I used to be a truck driver. I'm still a truck driver. I used to do real estate. He had a portfolio of fix and flips that he used to do 5 years ago. But currently, he hasn't done a fix and flip, him or his cousin, in quite some time. And I told him straight up, I said, listen, your deal looks good, and you sound like you have some experience, but you haven't been in the game for a long enough time, nor have you done anything recently. And I'm telling you, because I want you to learn from this experience, I don't trust you as a person to risk lending money, right? Because even if I'm not the one lending it to you, I have people that I'm saying, hey, here's a good deal. Well, they trust me. And if I tell them it's a good deal, it damn sure is a good deal. But I can't have that if like last deal you did was 2000 and whatever ago, you know what I mean? So for him, what I recommended is he needs to find people in his market that he can partner with who have the experience, right? Because now it makes you look even better. And the analogy I gave him was this. I said, if you go play basketball and you suck, and all the people on the court know that you suck, what's the odds you're gonna get picked to play on the winning championship team? Not very high. But if you go play basketball and you get picked up by a bunch of other experienced athletes, and you're the weakest person on that team, when you all win the championship, doesn't everybody get a ring? The person at the front office gets a ring. They don't know even what a basketball is, right? They just come to work, fill out paperwork. But they all get that on their resume. I was like, that's what you need right now, right? You have previous skills, but in order for someone to see you as valid in the space right now, you need to be able to showcase some work. I said, so I'll be honest with you, what you have to do is humble yourself, go find someone who's active in the market and say, hey, I got a great deal, but I need to have the experience. Let me partner with you, even if you make zero out of it. Literally, if you make $0 out of it, your name gets to be part of that deal and you get to work on that deal. Your next deal now becomes the one that you can get lending on, right? So for me, I'm always gonna bet on the jockey. That's the most important part.
Awesome. So, you guys talked a little bit about, some of these deals going sideways, some of these situations going sideways. Do you feel that, looking back, there are any red flags for sure that would just completely make you walk away from either the deal or the person? Eddie, I know you just spoke on that. If we can get the rest of the panel to chime in.
The market is constantly shifting. If they don't know the market and they're talking about doing a fix and flip in a market that's not favorable, I already know that's a red flag. Somebody who is not timely in their responses or getting everything that they need to submit to us so that we can make sure that it's a good deal, I already know that I'm gonna have an issue getting in contact with you. And that's not gonna work if we're putting someone else's money up and our reputation is everything in this. So we have to make sure that we're with responsible people and that have experience, like Eddie said. Why not partner with somebody and be a part of something if you're gonna do multiple deals? Don't think about that one deal. Think about how many you're gonna do over time and in the future. So just lack of response and not being sharp and diligent, you're coming to us with no business plan, that's automatically a no for us. We need to see something, we need to know your thought process, and then we need to have time to really say, okay, let me do my more due diligence and I have further questions for you, and you give me those answers, then we're good to go. And we can fund deals within 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, I think the same thing too. It's really looking at, do they have the paperwork, do they know the story? But I'm gonna go back to what Phil said, that vibe check also helps out too. You just gotta know, that works out not just in this kind of deals, right, or anything in life. You gotta have, you vibe with somebody, they're genuine, you get back to them, they don't, treat you like, oh, you're got some ego, and they're like, don't put you down. Just the idea of having that vibe really works a lot. It goes a long way, and also what Eddie said, bet on the jockey, right? That's a long term, and I think that applies to some of the other areas too.
So I'll add on to that, on top of everybody else, what everybody else said. I also look at where the deal is located. So if the deal is located in like a population of 500 folks, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that deal. Just period. Furthermore, yeah, right. I've had some deals that come across my desk that were like literally in the middle of like New Mexico. I'm like, no, like heck no. And if I get an email that gives me like the address and how much they're looking for, I'm like, no. Like, you gotta put more detail in regards to actually what you want, and basically give me more than just 2 lines of text. And if they're if they're able to communicate well and continue on communicating, then that's also a different story. But those are the things that I actually look at. Also the deal, the person, and then just seeing how they carry themselves in life and through the conversation that you have.
So we've heard a lot of the don'ts of lending. Okay. Tell us about your ideal, the perfect scenario. What does that look like as a lender?
I think that depends on what kind of lending you're doing, right? We talk about private money. There's also hard money lending. There's Gator. If you're talking about Gator, for example, I'm looking for, the first question I always ask is, do you have your buyer lined up, right? I want to see the transaction already outlined in your head, and then the missing piece should be the money part, right? But if we having a conversation like, no, it's a good deal, I need $5K earnest money, I'm like, well, do you have your buyer lined up? Like literally earlier today, somebody said they had a great deal, and I asked them, do you have your buyer lined up? And I didn't get a response. It's like, how are you able to give me a return date of when you know my money could come back when you don't even have your buyer lined up, right? So for me, that's a key indicator on, can you send me through the whole picture? Tell me the whole entire story, and let me find out that the money that is needed is why you're coming to me. That's the only missing part, and typically we can do business together.
Yeah, that's pretty much like a solid plan. I would definitely second Eddie. And I would see more documentation on the individual. They can provide references, right, on top of what he was saying. And basically, if he's already been vetted through communities, like if he's in Sub 2 or in Gator, I already know there's already been one layer of vetting, with PACE or whatever, and then that gives me more confidence in the individual. And another ideal point that I like to have is just a conversation. Like, I really want to make sure that all his mind is there. Like, he's solid, he has a solid plan, he can give me a contingency plan too as well, just so I know he thought through the whole process. That gives me more assurance and confidence on the jockey.
Absolutely. So having someone that can speak to your character, being part of Sub 2 or the Gator community, somewhere where people already know you and have done things with you, and you can send that referral over so we can talk with them. But usually if we get a good vibe and we know you're part of the community, it's a little easier. But if you guys want to get a deal funded quickly from us, bring me some equity partnership deals, and we can really talk really quickly, because I love a deal where I can become an equity partner. That's absolutely amazing. Of course I want to hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good points so far. Not too much to add on. I think the idea of what I've picked up a lot is there's a gentleman named Jake Fillerette, also in the Gator community. Learned a lot from him, and just, again, going back to the documentation, going back to the vibes, but to Eddie's point, the whole idea is just, do they have a buyer? Have they thought through things? I mean, I'm not a 20-year real estate investor. I'm learning a lot from the sponge, so can everybody else, but just learning about those kind of questions, seeing what they're doing, what their exit strategy is. Because I'm learning at the same time too. I think, I'm going to be learning for the rest of my life. So I think the idea of just asking those questions, heck, I'm going to learn something. I try to approach every interaction, I'm going to learn something new to myself. I don't try to come in with ego. Just if we have a conversation, we can understand things. I learn from you, you learn from me. That to me makes a bigger difference. And if you're talking to somebody and you're just not getting anything back and not much information, like, okay, maybe this is not the thing for me. Somebody else can do it. Kind of just go from there.
I know I'm a little dry on my questions, but does anybody in the audience have any questions that you want to ask the money? Heather?
I have a question. So, when a deal does go bad, like once private money lender gives their money out, and then they haven't got paid the time they're supposed to be paid, what do you guys do? And then for you, Jael, with your company, is there certain clauses private money lender?
So the collateral is the most important part. So you want to assess that collateral before you say yes to the deal. We are going to do a title search. We're going to make sure that it's not already positioned loans in front of us on that. And basically, usually we're lending as private money lenders anywhere from 20K to 100K on something, but on an asset that's worth 300 to 500 to $600,000. So it's actually a really sound investment for that private money lender. If I do have to take it over, I know what to do with it. And of course, the people that we're backing, we can help them with that, but that's the last thing that we want to do. So making sure you have good collateral and that the contracts are right, that's how you make sure your money is protected. And we use a third-party servicing company who knows the laws in every state. So they're going to draft those contracts. They're going to be sending out the reminders for the money and the collections, and it's all going to go through them. So that really, once the money is funded, all we're doing is getting a notification that it's back in the accounts. If someone happens to be late, please communicate well, and then we can add additional terms to that. And sometimes the late fee terms are usually already in there, but if you need additional time from what we discussed, then we renegotiate those terms. So it's a win-win for all parties involved, and the last thing we want to do is take over that property. We want to help you make it right.
A couple quick things to add. I mean, if you have problems with somebody not paying back, you know, I know a couple guys in Jersey that can probably take care of those guys too. Well, yeah.
The company called my cousin Vinny.
Joey Bag of Donuts and Frankie Two Fingers.
They give results.
So the things double check, but I actually know some guys like that. But the things I'm learning from Jayo and other folks, you know, to me, like, you know, I think everybody's reading their Robert Kiyosaki books, but I'm also reading the Matt Faircloth, Raising Private Capital. There's, you know, a lot of things you can do from the raising from PML type stuff is also like have them on the insurance company. If something happens to the insurance document, something happens to the property, they also get paid back. There's conversation, I think, first position, second position. There's a personal guarantee. There's a couple of different ways you can protect that lender, especially that's giving you the money for the property, that you can actually give them assurances in terms of making sure if something goes wrong, they get some or all the money back. It's not 100%. It's risky, right? But that's the idea that Lord, like they're lending out their money, and you want to be as genuine as possible to make sure that they get the money back. So you continue that conversation, you can continue that relationship to get future deals, right? You don't want to just make a deal and burn some money and you're done. You want to make one deal, make 2, make 5, make 10 down the road.
So the question was, how do you get paid back if a deal goes south? Like, what do you do to kind of recoup your investment, right?
Yeah.
So for a Gator side, I just recently learned this probably about like a month ago. And if we are in second lien position or even first lien position on the property, this gives you an example, we like to put a deed in lieu of foreclosure for, let's just say they have a loan out for 3 months, right? Let's just say on the 5th month they go delinquent or whatever, they can't pay or whatever, we'll just take the property back and just go ahead and sell it. It makes it so much easier, so much more cleaner, and we get that agreement up front. Furthermore, we're gonna basically collateralize that if there is not enough equity or spread in the deal on another property they have or their personal property, their home. And you have your basic instruments, right? You have, you know, deed of trust, promissory note, joint venture agreement with a personal guarantee, right? But also you can, in the beginning, get a personal financial statement just to make sure that this particular borrower has what he says he has. Also, if you want to go even deeper, you can go to credit check as well, just to make sure that this person's solid. And so I think those are the things that we've had to mitigate a lot of our losses and a lot of just, people that are just trying to kick tires. So if things go south, I mean, we have the collateral to get back and then just go ahead and do what we need to do.
So I'm gonna end up repeating the same thing these guys said. That's the way you want to go about it. I do want to kind of make something clear, just so everybody, we're all on the same page. Most deals will go bad. the whole point of being a lender or trying to lend is how can we make sure that we have things in place so that when they go bad, we're not at a loss, right? So even if you are looking to lend or if you want to get some lending, I don't want you to try to go into this like, okay, yeah, this is the ironclad proof thing, it's gonna work. There's so many reasons for it not to work than it is for it to work. So it's about how do we prepare for when, if that one thing does happen that we didn't think could possibly happen because the moon doesn't normally go that way, and it actually does. How do we prepare for that? And one of the key things that was mentioned, communication is everything. No one is lending money with the understanding that, like, I don't understand how come the contractors didn't come on time. I don't get it, right? Like, we know life is gonna happen. Life be lifing, right? Can we all agree with that? Some people are like, what the hell is a life? What? Life be lifing, right? And so what you gotta make sure that you do is you have to be on top of your communication with your lenders. Don't let your lender be the one that's calling you. You reach out to your lenders, let them know what's going on, how it's going on, what you're trying to do, before they have to, get out one of the documents that's gonna make things a little bit more difficult for you next time, right? If you're in open communication and the plan is set, and hey, look, we knew this could possibly happen, it's going on, I apologize, here's what we're doing to make it work, et cetera, they're not going to burn that bridge with you and say, well, we'll never do business again, right? So it's always think, this could possibly go wrong. What do we have in place for that? And when you come with that type of plan to any one of us, there's no way we're not doing business with you. Because you've done all of those stuff that we like to think about. We like to see that you're thinking in the same way, therefore we allow you to have access to that capital.
Thank you.
I know you mentioned about doing it for a fix and flip. What if you did it as earnest money deposit and something falls through?
Yeah. So earnest money deposit is like the easiest of them all, right? And it's easy because there's not a lot of moving parts and the transaction typically is protected. So one of the things, everything is through documentation, the right paperwork. One of the things that you want to do though is if you are lending on an EMD, you want to reach out to the title company or the closing attorney and you want to introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Eddie Charger. I'm the one that is financial partners with John, who's doing the deal on 123 Main Street. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions and also wanted to get you to understand what's actually happening in this transaction. I'm providing the EMD for this property. It's all agreed upon between myself, John, the wholesaler or investor, and the seller, that if it doesn't go through, that without any questions from anybody other than myself, this money gets refunded back to me. Do you have a problem with that? They're gonna tell you yes or no. If they say no, don't do the deal with them. That's not the right title company to work with. If they say, hey, look, we have an issue, then what you say next is, I have documentation that speaks to this. Do you want me to send you my documentation that speaks to this and I can get it signed by everybody? Or do you have something that you needed the language to be in a particular way that I can sign and have all the parties involved sign? That's very important. Don't think that you can have, oh, I got it on my documents that's saying if they don't have the buyer that comes in when it's supposed to come in, then I can get my earnest money back to me. Some title companies have their own documentation that they need signed and they will not release your EMD because you didn't do it through their paperwork, right? So obviously my business partner's an attorney, so you get to learn some free tricks of the trade, right? But that's one of the things you really want to make sure that you do, and if you do that, you're golden. There's not, I can't see a way that you wouldn't be able to get your money back with no problem.
Probably a mutual release.
But yeah, so a mutual release, go ahead, explain that to them.
So again, things I'm learning from other folks. So mutual release, there's, I'll back up a little bit. There's not one universal wholesale contract. There's not one universal Gator lending, every state's a little bit different. You have your documentation. So I think that's the idea with this community, is that you're, a PACE team are trying to have a good set of documents to get people to do best practices and make sure things are done clean. So there's really a concept called mutual release. There are certain states where all parties involved have to agree to release the money, what Andy's talking about, if the deal falls through. If that is not done, your money can be sitting in a title company for in perpetuity. Did I say that right? Forever, right? The idea is so that's another thing you got to check. And you know what's a good thing to do, Dad? Work with a transaction coordinator to make sure that you get all the paperwork done and all those things. That's, I'm learning from other folks. Definitely look at maybe transaction coordinator. So if you're not the most detailed person, those people will help you out. Like that point alone has hurt a lot of people.
Shout out Velocity TC.
Billy Bob.
Give out money for earnest
No.
deposit.
You're not gonna give Billy Bob money.
Go to the title company.
Correct.
But where will, say, Esther fit in if she's the TC?
So think about it, Esther, like a title and transaction coordinator, they're just going to help you organize the paperwork, the communications between all the parties involved. Just think about it. It's not I wouldn't say paralegal, but just somebody that's going to help you with the communications, the paperwork, and make sure that everything's going to be done in a timely manner. To Eddie's point about the communications, you have to be out there talking, but then if you hire a TC, they're going to also communicate, really more so talk more on your behalf, just to make sure things are done.
So that will be done before the earnest money deposit is sent to the title company?
Yeah, you want to get all the documentation, everything agreed upon before any money is sent anywhere.
You have a window for EMD in your contract, so basically the TC will help you make sure that you are hitting those dates and those deadlines, so everybody involved will know when the earnest money needs to be deposited, but all of those negotiations and conversations happen up front.
And if you feel off, it's okay to miss the date, right? Phil had mentioned it. Trust your gut, right? If at the end of it all, maybe you went to sleep and maybe it was a bad fish you had, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe you really feel some type of way about this. It's okay to miss the date. Call and say, hey, listen, unfortunately, I'm just not going to do it, and because of X, Y, and Z. It's better to do that than to have your stomach in knots the whole 3 weeks because you went against, what you thought you should have stuck to, right? And again, the TC, I don't know, there might be a TC company here.
Velocity TC?
I'm not 100% sure. There might have been a couple of T-shirts or some signs I saw around here that can help you with all your real estate transaction needs. And I'm not affiliated with them at all, even though I would like a referral fee. That would be great. You know what I mean? But that's important because it helps you realize, like, oh, if I miss something, they got my back, right? There's things that you may not even be thinking about. And also, you have so much going on, right? Life is still lifing for you. So when you lend out this money, there might be that one thing you're going to remember to do, but then something took place in your life, and now you just never got back around to it, and the TC will help save the deal and also ensure that your money comes back with the profits, because that's really what you want. Yeah.
No, you had a question?
Oh, it wasn't on Gator though. Is your question on this? No. Okay. Okay, so my question was, when I listen to the criteria, what you look for, again, the financial statements, the credibility and things like that, it sounds very similar to what a hard money lender is looking for as well. So I guess I want to find what distinguishes, are the rates more competitive if you go private versus hard money? What distinguishes
The difference?
the difference?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the difference between hard money and private money, one sounds like hard, and the other one is private. That was my best work right there, by the way. That's the best you're gonna get on that. No, so they're both the same, right? Can you guys, they're both the same, and they just have small differences. I'll let them dive a little bit deeper into a lot of the major differences for you. But what I would just say on surface level is private money allows you to not have to go through a different level of scrutiny, right? Hard money wants, a lot of times your first kid and a lot of stuff has to go into like what they require, where hard money won't really care about those same things. They'll look at other stuff. Like, for example, hard money typically won't care about the jockey. They want the horse. Right? Because they're guaranteed, they like, okay, cool, you got this great deal, this is right, oh yeah, we love you, go ahead, make us some money, but in case you don't, we taking this property, we can care less about you, your family, and what what's your goals in life and all this other stuff. Private money is the opposite, right? Where they're focused more on like, well, tell me a little about yourself and what you want to do, because I'm entrusting you, I don't want to have to repurpose this property and then sell it. Right? Hard money is like, that's cool. You don't want to pay it? All right. That's fine. Right? So that's the on surface level. They can tell you more about like deeper detail.
Yeah, so I mean everything what Eddie said, but if you want to go more deeper in like the Gator stuff is like more short term. Like we're looking for return within 3 months. Versus private and hard money, they usually have the same timeline, 6 to 12 months, 18 months, it could be flexible. Private money are usually going to be a little bit more cheaper. Basically, if you have a longer term, like let's say you are borrowing money from grandma or whatever, they're just like at 8% or whatever. Hard money is usually at 10 to 12%. Gator, they're looking for more of a chunk out of the deal. So if you're looking at 25 loan, looking probably at least 30% return, $5,000 to $6,000 in a short period of time. So. And usually with most Gators, they're going to be more private money, but looking for a higher return in shorter time period. So yeah.
The biggest difference with private money is that basically we're more flexible and creative with our terms. So say you have a deal where it's not something that's traditional, and you say, look, let me pay you back interest for the next whatever months, and then give you back a lump sum after I finish or refinance in 12 months. A private money lender is more likely to say yes to that because now we're trusting you, we heard your business plan, and we know what you're going to do, where that might not work for a hard money loan. And just private money is also more friendly to people who are not in real estate. So think about your friends, family members, attorneys, doctors, people that you know that want a better return on their money but have no real estate experience. It's easier to explain private money lending to them and letting them go through you and trust you with having the real estate experience to get a better return on their money than they get from the bank. So it's not as fast paced. You don't have to know more about the transaction or contacting title companies. You put your money out there through a third party company and they kind of protect you if you want to go that route, or you have the documents to back you up and you still can make money in real estate without being in real estate. It's very passive.
Sounds like the private money can close quicker also, right?
Yeah, we do our due diligence. I can do that stuff within a few hours. I'm gonna look at the location, like you said, population. There's certain things I look at for everything. Sometimes we fund in less than 24 hours. I think Rob got funded in like a few hours one time and he needed the money to close the next day.
Yeah.
Especially if we trust you. We have a track record. You're in the community. Super easy.
Yep. What'd she say?
Can you talk a little bit about people being prepared, the borrower being prepared, like, not having their LLC structure, not coming to you saying, my name's John Thomas, give me,
That's my dad's name. That is hilarious. But yeah, we actually have forms that we push out. So all of those questions are there. So if you're not prepared, once you see that form, you're like, okay, I know what I need. So that'll kind of help you if you're newer. And then, like we said, partnering with the right people, knowing how to get your LLC in place. The company we use a lot is PCS. They do everything for you if you're not someone that wants to do it yourself. So finding the right companies, finding the resources, and then partnering with the right people that know.
Yeah, I'll second that. And so, like, he's the attorney, right? Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. He's the attorney. Yeah, he's got to come. Yeah. So, so basically, I actually look at the operating agreement, make sure that the person that is looking to get the loan can sign for the loan, right, or sign for the money. And if they have another partner, I'm like, hey, what about this particular person? Where is he at in the deal? Secondly, I also look at the certificate of good standing of that LLC. I go do the research on the whatever state they're incorporated, And then I'm like, okay, this guy's still in good standing, everything's active. And if it's not, then obviously we're gonna have a conversation about that, right?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't think we need to dive deeper into that. Like, you got to make sure you have all your stuff together, right? And if you don't, that's okay. But understand, we're not just about to go down to the ATM and be like, all right, just how much you wanted, big bills or small bills, right? Because we're lending to your company, and you want it that way. That's another thing. You don't want to take anything in your personal name. Don't put yourself in a position where you regret this amazing deal that came out of nowhere that nobody else in the world could get, but it was you because you prayed about it last week. And so, because here's the thing, and listen, I'm religious, right? You can pray about a deal, and you'll be like, no, you don't understand. This is the deal that God sent for me. And what God's actually doing is about to put you through the trials and tribulations so you can be better for the next deal, right? So you don't know which one God is giving you right now. Don't test it on your personal property and name. If you take a loan on your own, then that's your personal property. So anything that has your name attached to it, we will come for it. Just being honest, right? Like, we love you. It's all fun and games, and we want to do business with you. But if you're on the other side of the stick, you're going to get hit with the stick part, right? Because we have responsibilities, again, to our people who entrusted us, right? One of the difference between hard money and private money is hard money is also borrowing money from people to lend. That's why they're charging more typically than what private money can. Private money is directly to the source. So again, always make sure you're prepared, and if you don't know what that actually means, again, there might be a couple of people here locally that have money that's lending. I don't know, they might be on a panel somewhere talking about they give money out. Maybe you may want to get in contact with them, right? And here's the other thing I would say: if you are new, say you're new. Don't pretend that you're like, oh yeah, so I don't care if you was watching all the videos and you've been studying this for whatever amount of time. If you are new, and new to me is like, if you haven't done at least 5 of these, say you're new. And say, can you walk me through these? You'll get so much further with any of these individuals that are on here than if you come like, okay, because at that point now there's an expectation that we already set. And we're like, okay, here, boom, 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 and now you say, hey, we didn't get your operating agreement. Oh, I didn't know you needed that. Now you've ruined the expectation, and we don't want to lend to you at all, right? So make sure that you're just upfront. Hey, I'm new. And I really want to do this. Can you walk me through it? And I promise you, you get the help that you need.
Thank you, guys.
Somebody had a question.
Yes.
Any lenders, this might sound a little crazy question, but do any of the lenders do long-term, like if you want to buy and hold?
Yes. So the question is, are there any lenders that do long-term? So yes, there are lenders that do long-term. Long-term will not be Gator, like he just mentioned, and Gator is more short-term. But you have to ask that same question, like, hey, I'm looking for lending for long term. Now, with that being said, maybe what you're looking for is not a private money lender. Okay, sorry. You never want to do hard money long term. Is that clear with everybody? You understand? Does anybody not understand why I'm saying that?
I don't.
Okay. Good, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that, man. The reason why you don't want to do anything long-term with hard money lender, hard money is set so that they can make money off of you. The longer that you're in it, the more money they're going to make. It's built in a way so that the longer that they stay in it, the more they take in their profit and your profit. And then when there's no more profit left, they're going to take the property. It's not really suited for long-term strategy. So you don't want hard money for that. You definitely would go into private money. Now, with that being said, you don't want a private money lender. What you need is a private money partner. Are you starting to see the difference between a private money lender? So when she mentioned, if the deal has equity and you want to offer me equity, that's private money partnership. When you come to a lender, hey, I need to borrow money, I'll pay you for it, plus I want to do X, Y, and Z. I want to hold it for a long period of time. I would offer you equity. Are you interested? I don't know if you guys saw it, she was ready to fill out applications right then and there when she said, she was like, if you got equity, we can talk right now. We can talk all day. Because right after this, right? Because that's the reality. Like, that's an even better deal for a lender. Because now not only their money is like truly guaranteed, but you've allowed them the opportunity to make money in the deal alongside with you. If I can make money with you, I definitely want to do this deal. Because now I have even more faith. Right? I got more trust in you because you're willing to open up the door and allow us to make money together. And the next time you come with a deal, absolutely, same thing. And let's work together, no problem. So that's what you want. If you're looking for a long term because you want to keep the property yourself, you don't want to fix and flip, you're looking for private money partners. And that's an open negotiation as far as like what the percentage could be or whatever. It's a long term relationship, so you guys can talk it out. Yeah.
So there's a couple of different type of long-term money, right? You're looking for. Is it a DCR, which is the debt service cover ratio, or is it like a long-term rental, right, or a short-term rental?
What's the DCR?
Like so, the debt that's your
It's an asset base.
Yeah, it's an asset-based loan that's going to be in your LLC most likely, right? And so, will the rent or the cash flow of that asset cover the debt, right? So if the debt is $1,000, let's say a traditional DCR loan is 1.25, so you got to make $1,250 at least to cover that debt to be able to get qualified for that loan, right? That's the bare minimum. Obviously, if you want to going to see more, like 1.5 is probably better, right? So there's different types of loans. And so since the gated community is like here, we actually have a Connect that we can help you with those types of loans. So if I'm sure you have one too as well. Alpha. So we have a partner with a mortgage company or a funding company that can help you with that. Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna wrap up this panel in particular, but if you guys are interested in becoming a lender, learning more about what it takes to be in their shoes, I want you to send a text right now to 571.
Okay, hold on, because I think they're in shock. They don't understand. Everybody pull your phone out. This is where the magic happens. Everybody pull your phone out. Literally right now, I see some people looking at me without their phones in their hands.
You definitely want your phone in your hand.
Get your phone in your hand. Not your pen and pad. Put that away. Get your phone in your hand. Now, let me ask this last question before we do this, so you guys know exactly what we're talking about. Everybody that's in here, are you looking for private money lenders? Yeah. Raise your hand if you are. All right, everybody that's in here, raise your hand if you're looking for private money partners. Okay, last question. Raise your hand if you would like to be able to learn how to use their money to lend to other people and then you make money. Okay, so now we're gonna do this again. Everybody pull out your phone because they're about to give you something that hasn't been done yet. Okay, so get ready.
Can I plug something?
You can play anything you want.
All right, sis, look away.
Hey guys, so the biggest thing that people forget about is that all of us have access to private money. You have friends, family members, and contacts in your phone right now that have money. And you can connect them and be that missing link for them to make money. So don't forget about that. Soon, this September, we will be hosting Zooms every week to teach people about private money. You can bring your friends and family on there, have them register through Eventbrite. You guys will be seeing the postings up too. And then we will be having a multifamily Zoom, which is beginner friendly, about how you can make your money in multifamily between those deals so that you're building wealth and not working a job, wholesaling the whole time. Unless you have a wholesaling company, it's like working, looking for the next deal, So free information.
So, please, nobody don't leave here. Go to your cousin's cookout and be like, yo, I was just at this event. We're gonna learn how to raise money. You just gotta give me 50,000, and then these people I was working with, I got their number, look. It is not gonna work. Trust me, I've been there, done that. That's not how it works. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get down this information we're gonna give you, And what you're gonna do is, so I love T-shirt because he has the plug on there. Have you guys see that shirt? He's a connector, right? What you guys are gonna do, if you do have family and friends that have money set aside, and you'd be surprised how many family and friends of yours got money that they would love to not put into you, and be okay with that. Like, wow, if it was me, you would, damn, mama, that's crazy. It's okay. Mama and uncles and all them, guess what? They don't trust you. And that's the reality. And the truth of the matter is, it don't really matter how much money you guys end up making, they'll probably never trust you, right? Because the reality is, they grew up with you. They knew the crazy thing, they was there with you, right? They saw you put that pencil so far up your nose, there's no way I'm giving this kid $50,000. I don't care what he shows me, right? But what they will do is they will take the connection. They will say, okay, yeah, he was telling me about this thing, let me see what it's all about. Because it's not you presented it. So what you have to learn how to do is step out the way, connect them to what he's about to tell you to do. And now they want to invest their money, they're going to go through you, but they're connecting directly to them, but you still make the money, right? And majority of your real money, your real investments, this is going to be crazy. Majority of your real stuff is going to come from people you haven't even met yet. It's not from your friends and family. So don't feel some type of way about it. Just understand this is the way of life, this is how it goes. But definitely don't tell Ray, I got a money scheme for 50K, because they're gonna turn that down easy. All right, so you guys ready? Let me see your phones. Put your phones up.
Yep.
Phone check.
Phone check.
If you got an Android, it's okay. You can still put it up. I'm not feeling some way. All right, go ahead, T.
All right, I want you to send a text. I want you to send LEND, L-E-N-D.
L-E-N-D.
To who? What's the number first?
571.
That's all the Android people. That was like, what? Give me the number for it, bro.
571.
571.
487.
487.
8377.
8377.
Send LEND to that number.
L-E-N-D.
Correct.
Is it all caps or is it just the capital L?
Send it. It'll go.
Just send. All right.
I got a green bubble. What's up with that?
I know what your green bubble is.
You guys got it? Does anybody need the number one more time? Make sure you got the right number. Send that over. And here's what's going to happen. That's going to put you directly connected to all of the leaders that are lending in the DMV area. And now you'll be able to have their contact information. And anytime you have something that smells like a deal, all you have to do is say, hey, I was at the Salsa to Sub 2 event, and I have something that smells like a deal. I don't even know if it's a really deal, if it's a good deal yet. It smells like a deal, and I want to get your help on it. And they will give you white glove service access. They'll walk you through how to do it. They'll teach you if it's a good deal or not. They'll go above and beyond what they would normally do for their other people. And all this is for free. And it'll teach you how to either buy homes so you can keep, you can fix and flip homes, or so that you can start lending on deals yourself. How's that sound? Is that good?
Yeah.
I know it's cold in here, so I need y'all to warm it up. Is that good?
Yes.
All right, cool. Good. We good?
Yeah, so
What's next?
We're going to wrap this up, and we're actually going to have all of the Sub 2 DMV leaders and speakers come up and, basically have a hot seat. Shoot whatever question you have towards us. Anything real estate related, not just money. Anything real estate related.
Good, good. All right, so what are we doing, like a 5-minute?
5-minute break, and then we're back.
Okay, so we got other people that's in the other rooms. We're all gonna end it here, so you guys got 5 minutes, walk around, get your heat back, come back in, and then we're gonna do a whole hot seat on everything real estate, money, multifamily, affordable housing, all the good stuff. All right, good? All right, good? All right.
Yes.